This is the third and final battle between Blademaster and something something. I'll pronounce his name afterwards. So this time I tried something a bit different with... in the beginning, when I ran Attila, I ran it with maxed out graphical settings, and then now I've tried to run it at performance, to get some better performance, get some more FPS out of the game. But now I'm going to try to run it in with the graphical settings maximized again, to see if it makes for a more enjoyable viewing experience without any negative effects in terms of stutters and frame rate performance and such. So we have the Visigoths being commanded by Blademaster, and they have the Gardingi cavalry. He has 2 units of Gardingi cavalry, very versatile but very expensive. Then he has, let's see, Noble Germanic horse, backed up by Germanic lancers. Both, again, a symmetrical deployment by Blademaster here. Then he has Gothic Folksmen, 4 of those, some nice shock infantry. He has 3 Germanic hurlers and 4 Germanic archers. His general is a Gothic general, so very strong cavalry here from Blademaster. Now, if I'm going to try to get inside Blademaster's head here and have a guess at what he's thinking, these Thracian warriors and Gothic folksmen they have precursors, which is very useful against cavalry. Also, up against the Huns, you know you're going to be fighting a lot of Uar warriors, and Uar warriors and even chosen Uar warriors here are more than a match for most of the sword, if not all of the sword infantry in the game. So these Uar warriors will die to 2-handed axe units, but of course the Visigoths don't have that. The Uar warriors are also vulnerable to skirmish, so ironically, something that the Germanic factions will be able to win out in against the Huns will be the skirmish, because they can bring the very cheap hurlers and the very long-range Germanic archers. Now, the step bows are a very good unit for their price, so they need to be handled with care. If not, they can do a lot of damage. So, enough about Blademaster's build here. Let's have a look at the army of DD something Jizz from the VM clan. He has noble step cataphracts. Let's see, symmetrical deployment for him as well. So noble step cataphracts, Hunnic mounted bows, very very useful unit for rear charging and harassment. He has even giving them 1 bronze chevron. For his infantry, of course, he has his Uar warriors. He has 5 Uar warriors, 2 chosen and 3 Uar warriors in the center. His general is a step chieftain, backed up by step cataphracts and Hunnic lancers. And for his skirmishing, he has 4 step bows. So the Visigoths have the foot skirmish advantage, at least. These Gardingi could pose problems for the Hunnic mounted bows. Even though the Hunnic mounted bows are much faster, when these Gardingi pop rapid advance, they can do a lot of damage with their javelins against these Hunnic mounted bows. And both players deploy very very wide here, which is a good idea when you're coming up against skirmish heavy armies. Like, both these armies are fairly skirmish heavy. Blademaster has a total of 7 foot skirmishers, a total of 9 skirmish units. And here we have two mounted skirmishers and 4 foot skirmishers. So I think the way that Blademaster would win this is if he's able to deal with these skirmishers and then support his because his infantry is going to lose. He's going to do a lot of damage, but there's just more of the Uar warriors. And the Uar warriors, if they get the charge on these Gothic folksmen, they will destroy them. If the Gothic folksmen get the charge, they will do a lot of damage to the Uar warriors. But the Huns lack melee cavalry. That can be somewhat mitigated by the fact that these Hunnic devil archers and the Hunnic mounted bows, they can do a lot of damage to these noble Germanic horsemen, and if they do that enough times, if the Huns keep their distance and these archers are allowed to pour the fire in on these noble Germanic horse, then when they get hit by shock cavalry, the shock cavalry can destroy these noble Germanic horsemen. However, Blademaster being smart here, using his Germanic archers to good effect there, using their superior range to keep the Hunnic Devil archers at bay. And here we have a flank breaking off, just keeping the center away from the superior skirmish of Blademaster and moving towards one flank, which seems like a good idea here, because Blademaster doesn't have... One of the problems with Blademaster's army is that he doesn't have the infantry to support multiple engagements. He only has these 4 infantry units, and although his cavalry is very good, even one unit of UR warriors in a cavalry blob is going to do a lot of damage to both cavalry and infantry in that fight. So Blademaster is in a bit of a difficult situation here, using his Germanic archers to lay down some fire on steppe cataphracts, and he's hitting all of these units, which is very good for Blademaster. Running around with the fast Hunnic Devil archers. Germanic archers have fired a few volleys, but they haven't killed anything yet. The hit point damage has been done though, and this is very annoying for Blademaster. These Hunnic Devil archers moving around the back. In a rare charging roll, they can do a lot of damage, and they can also do a lot of damage with their 50 missile damage against noble Germanic horsemen. It looks like the flank is coming here, and Blademaster is wisely pulling back. He does not want to take this engagement yet. Noble steppe cataphracts have precursor ammo. And these Hunnic Devil archers, very, very annoying to deal with. Going into a diamond formation here, no doubt, to deal with shock cav, but the shock cav is being pulled back. So going very, very wide here, sort of ignoring the center, just keeping the cheap steppe bows in the center to deal with Germanic archers and to pour down some fire. But this is starting to look like a bit of an envelopment here. But he is giving up this flank and just rotating towards his right. But the UR warriors are not in a good position here, I have to say. These Germanic hurlers, they are under massive fire, so they haven't been able to do a lot of damage. But the UR warriors are not sturdy units against missile fire. Interesting tactical choices here made by Blademaster's opponent. Just focusing hard on one flank, refusing to engage the superior skirmish of Blademaster in the center, which is a very good idea. Here we have the noble Germanic horse coming in. Germanic lancers should get smashed by the noble steppe cataphracts, but Gothic folksmen are close by, and they're going to do a lot of damage to the noble steppe cataphracts. The noble Germanic horsemen took a lot of damage here. Blademaster using his guarding to just chase away these steppe bows to stop them firing for some time. The guarding are also charging into your warriors from the side, but they have to be very careful because these Hunnic lancers will do a number on the guarding on the charge. Noble Germanic horsemen are not getting a charge here, but it didn't look like any of these units got the charge. The Hunnic Devil archers pouring in the fire. And so much of the Hunnic army is away here, but the chosen Uars and the Hunnic let's see, the noble steppe cataphracts, they are superior units to what Blademaster has here locally, and these Gothic folksmen will die very, very quickly when they're being focused on like this. And there's also some friendly fire being done by Blademaster, but here you can see the noble Germanic horsemen. They are eating the steppe cataphracts alive when there isn't a charge in the mix. And of course the friendly fire here is substantial. Very, very messy engagements going on here. The Germanic lancers looks like they're going to manage to connect with the UR warriors and with the steppe bows. That they do. Wisely running away here before cavalry can support. Got some nice kills out of that. smashing into the back of these UR warriors as well. So very nice move there by Blademaster, using this one unit of Germanic Lancers to deal with a lot of enemy units. Very nice micromanagement of that particular unit.
The enemy have rallied their units.
Gothic General didn't get a good charge against the Steppe Cataphracts, unfortunately for Blademaster. But the UR warriors are now plowing through the Germanic Lancers. Focusing fire on the general is Blademaster.
The men have broken and are fleeing.
But Blademaster, like I said in the beginning, Blademaster just doesn't have his infantry support in place here, and that's what happens when you bring Gardingi cavalry. The Gardingi are a great unit, maybe not the best unit against the Huns, because the Huns can bring very cheap, longer range skirmish cavalry. Here we have a very dangerous unit of Steppe Cataphracts coming against Thracian warriors. Thracian warriors throw their precursors, and the amount of carnage on the Steppe Cataphracts was astonishing here. That unit just disintegrates, and together with the fire here, it looks like the Thracian warriors with their headhunt might also be, they might be able to take the charge, and that's what's so great about headhunt. You can eat the cavalry charge, throw precursors, and it's not a great trade in terms of cost efficiency, but not many infantry units can do that. And there Blademaster's general bites the dust. The Gardingi cavalry, they are holding out for the time being, but they're up against too many units. And the UR warriors are now, when they manage to charge Thracian warriors, they are cleaning up, and these units are just going to rout off the field due to balance of power. Hunnic mounted bows haven't gotten too many kills, same with the Hunnic devil archers, but they are a very, very annoying unit. They can give you battlefield control for very cheap. So close defeat there by Blademaster, and Blademaster said there were some time zone issues that he had to play at the time that wasn't really ideal for him, and that happens when you play competitive and you're in different time zones. So Blademaster's opponent in this good game to both players, by the way, and congratulations to V. It wasn't VM, it was only V. VRDDGZ. So his Huns did a fairly good job here. His URs perform reasonably well, but his Steppe bows, I think they were given great targets. The noble Germanic horsemen were largely neutralized. This Germanic Lancer was microed very well and got nice kills. The Gothic Folksmen also got nice kills, but I think these two Gardingi against particularly the Huns, they are a liability. I like the rest of Blademaster's setup, but let's see here. Let's just try to copy the build that Blademaster had. So he was the Visigoths, and he had the Gothic General, of course. Then he had 3 Gothic Folks, 1 warrior. He had 4 Germanic archers, 3 Germanic hurlers. Then he had 4 noble Germanic horse, and 2 Germanic Lancers, and then he had 2 Gardingi, so I have 1 too many of something. Yeah, I think it was the Germanic Hurlers. 2 Gardingi, I think it was something like this. And this isn't the worst Blademaster could do, not by a long shot. But I think that going up against the URs and having a lot of cavalry engagements, it could be wise to, in this particular case, to maybe not bring the Gardingi and maybe go a bit lighter on the skirmish. Let the Germanic hurlers eat the fire from the inevitable Steppe archers. Have some more Germanic hurlers, and against the Huns, I would really like some for the shields, for the extra armor. For the great charge, some Gothic warband could be nice. Thracian warriors also very nice. So if there's a maximum of 4 of each unit type, which I believe it was, having a few more infantry units to throw into the mix might be a good idea. It's not at all certain that what I'm suggesting here would be better for Blademaster at all, but just not bringing the Germanic archers can sometimes be worth it. And with this, you can also afford the Gardingi and still have some more infantry support for your main line, or if you want some longer range skirmish support, not Gothic archers, of course, Germanic archers can be a sound investment, and so can the Germanic bows. So there are quite a few options available, and once again, I'm not saying that this would for certain be a better choice for Blademaster against the Huns. The Huns are much stronger now that they have their shock cavalry buffed and their skirmish cavalry increased in combat ability. So they are definitely a much harder faction to face now. But the main things you have to contend with mobile skirmish, you have to contend with cheap archers, and cheap archers are fairly well dealt with by cheap slingers. But the problem is that for the Huns now, the step bows have very nice missile damage for their price, and they are also extremely cheap at 150. So one option could be, I love looking at different builds and theorizing about the game like this. One option could be to go very cheap with the Germanic bows and then have more funds to spend for better offensive units. Now, like I said, sword units against the Huns, a bit of a risk, because the Huns have such good sword units of their own. You won't be able to beat them with sword units as the Visigoths here. So another option could be to go full shock infantry, use the headhunt to its potential, and as keeping these Thracian warriors in the fight for longer. That could be a reasonable option. But what you're going to lack the ability to take charges from the Huns, and it's a difficult proposition fighting the Huns with the Visigoths now. But I do like the idea of having Germanic lancers instead of noble Germanic horse, and then having something left to. You could also be very, if you don't want to bring any foot skirmishers, and this could be a bit risky. But if you want to overpower in the infantry department, it could be possible to do something like this, and then just bring hurlers to deal with the step archers, something like this. I think this would be very close to what I would bring if I didn't want to go for the Germanic archers and I wanted to be very aggressive. This army could be played very aggressively against the Huns, and it could be used to deny them the time they need to envelop and do damage with skirmishers. Push up the hurlers, get early engagements with fast Germanic lancers, and use the guarding for sniping important units like the general and such. But thanks, enough blabbering from me. Thanks to Blademaster for sending me that game. It was quite a good one, and one where the Huns were used to good effect with some nice tactics deployed there by Blademaster's opponents. So congratulations once again, good game once again, strength and honor.